Hello again, friends, and welcome back. We just dropped those two beautiful beaming smiles out, so you got all of me at the moment. Welcome back, friends, to the third and final part of your match day ticket with Talking Town on the Home Dressing Room Network, on the Home Dressing Room channel. It's been a fantastic evening. 2 games, 4-0 and 1-0. Second game was a little bit less exciting. That chess again is out. Then the first, I will bring Matt and Rich both in. There we go. How are we all after that second game?
Still awake. Just.
Rich is lucky he had a mid-afternoon snooze, I think.
Absolutely, yeah. Steve Mays, though, all in all, good start to pre-season. Yeah, it was a good start to pre-season. So what do we know now that we didn't know back at 5:30?
I think we've sort of got a formation there. I like the way we set up, especially the first game. Looked like a 4-3-3. Fullbacks getting forward. Less so in the second game. I did message you, Martin, saying, well, you did say about the fullbacks, they're very limited, aren't they, the two who played, compared to Vincent Young and Ward, who we see in the first game. Yeah.
Matt?
I think the away strip looked pretty good. We've not really been a fan of it, have we, on the show? But it looks like
I've ordered it, Matt.
I know Richard's got it. It looks all right under the lights this evening, but, you know, the camera was quite far away.
Champion shirt. It's going to be a champion shirt, isn't it?
I think, I agree with Rich, really. I like the flair that we had from the younger players in the first game. I feel like the second game we reverted to more like League One type that we saw last season a little bit. A lot of possession, a lot of passing. No real end product. Lots of end product in the first game. That's why we scored 3 first half goals.
I thought Colchester were better, though, weren't they? They were better in the second game.
I mean, our friend Joe at the start said that he thought it was more of an academy team, didn't he? In the second
Sorry,
game.
I've just seen Joe's arrived. Look at that. Oh, my days, Joe, what are you wearing? Joe, what are you wearing? Joe, sort your microphone out and come back to me. But Joe, what are you wearing, my friend?
He's outdone the cruncher.
He has outdone me.
Yeah.
He's outdone you well and truly. Adam Flatt, I thought Kenlock checked inside well, moved into good positions, but final ball poor sometimes. I completely agree with that as well from Adam. And that's the difference in that second game for me. Kenlock, Donatian, the fullbacks, not the same level that Ward and Vincent Young brought in the first half.
Definitely.
Or first game, rather. I did like Alan Judge in the second game. He was nice and tidy. He looked hungry on the ball.
I did like him, Martin, but if we're going to play a 4-3-3, where does he fit in to that?
Well, yeah, I saw you post this on Twitter, and it depends on what your variation of 4-4-3-3 is. If you're going to go to a 4-5-1 without the ball and your 2 wingers are going to drop in, then you can play a player behind the striker in that midfield 3 triangle.
That's his role.
Yeah, absolutely, because then he can fall back in, especially when you've got Cole Skews. I've got 2
names I wrote down who I'd definitely have him on midfield, is Downs and Teddy Bishop. So you're looking for one more then, I think.
I'm not sure. Yeah. Well, it would be Bishop or Judge, wouldn't it? It wouldn't be Bishop, Downs and Judge for me, because Bishop and Judge do the same sort of role behind that striker, get on the ball, turn, make things happen. That's when we've seen the best of Teddy Bishop, when he's able to do that. Trying to force him out wide just to get him in the team didn't work and should never happen again.
So would you have Downs Bishop Hughes or Downs Bishop Scouse? I didn't think Dazelle played very well. He didn't get in the game, did he?
Well, let's bring Joe back in on that point because obviously, as we left, we were discussing the Dozel possibility of a loan deal.
He looks
Joe,
like the he looks like the old Pompey man. Have you got the same tattoos?
John Portsmouth.
He's a librarian, isn't he? He's a librarian, man.
what did you make of that second game, Joe?
I've got all the badges, gents. No, I was just going to say this is just because it was 1-0 and not 5 in the last game. Let me get that ridiculous hat off. It was nice to see a bit of competitive football in the sort of the mid-flow of the game where, there was a brief period where it got a little bit excited and it was a much better game than the first game. But still, it really fizzled out, didn't it? And you can tell how off the pace the players are. And I was just sitting there and I'm, thinking here, what can you say? And I don't want to be overly critical on certain players and say, well, this season, based on what I saw tonight in 2 very strange 75-minute games of football. But having said that, as you mentioned about Dozel, we talked beforehand, I didn't see too much. There was definitely, again, a few more encouraging signs, I think, this time, perhaps from Cole U that I saw from the first game, which I saw very little, next to nothing. Definitely Noah Chilvers in midfield. I didn't want to cast opinion over him because I never actually got to saw him last season. But if you're a 17, 18-year-old scoring the winner at Selhurst Park in a penalty shootout, you've clearly got something about you. And I thought he looked mustard tonight in midfield.
How is Callum Harriott playing in League Two? I can't get my head around that.
Well, I can't either. Great player.
Guys, we want to keep it down. We're not going to talk about it too much. Robbie Cowlin may have, I think something's gone on there, and Callum Harriott may owe someone some money or something. But no, to be quite honest, I think a lot of it had to do with his loan spell initially with us. Apparently, he really enjoyed the loan spell, and when he did arrive that season, there was, I think it was the same season as Nuble came in, or at least Nuble had already arrived. There was a few more, attractive propositions coming into that team where he's looking, I can't really get a game at Charlton. I can't really get, it's not really kicking off for me. And I think that the offer we put to him, and he was probably a bit naive because he probably thought, and I wasn't overly sold, probably thought, they're automatic promotion. I'll walk into League One with them and carry that momentum forward. I don't think it's quite worked out for him.
I'll take him, Matt. I'll take him.
Yeah, I remember that Charlton game. I think the season they went down, I think we beat them 3-0 at Pullman Road or something. He was a real standout player. Player. Very good.
Obviously, your club better than we do. If we wanted to put a bid in for a player of that caliber, what is your selling value on him? Do you think, knowing your chairman, knowing your club, knowing your financial situation?
Well, there's a couple of responses to this. Let's put it this way: Kane Vincent-Young isn't a £500,000 football player any day of the week, whether it was 6 months ago, 7 months ago, 8 months. It doesn't matter. That's also part of your answer there. I think Robbie Cowlin has his cards very close to his chest in the sense where he says, we didn't barely break even when the fans were here. So how are we going to break even now? Obviously, there was a League Cup run, which would have generated some money, not a lot. And the TV that he got from that and, the Man United game and stuff. So I think to say that we wouldn't be entertaining lower offers for a player like that. I think a lot of our fans might say, well, yeah, £800,000, £900,000. But if the finances are as bad as he's making out to be, you could get him for so much less than what he's worth.
I'd happily take him.
Again, on that, if Robbie Cowlin's playing his card close to chest, actually thinking, well, there is a little bit more disposable cash. And again, as I say, I think what this transfer window is running up for ages, isn't it, to October possibly, if I think I'm right, or how long it's going on for. I've got a funny feeling it will be all smash and grab last minute, and he may hold some of that money back. But if someone says to him now, 600,000 for, I don't know how we would be able to refuse it based on the things he said in the last few months.
Lovely comment from Lloyd here, guys, who's just made an account to comment. Welcome, Lloyd. No tomorrow so much about pre-season, but we've got so many young and exciting players that will dictate our season, as well as Norwood. No Nolan or Wilson tonight, though, guys, as John Watson pointed out. What is the thinking behind there? There's got to be a knock or of some description.
It's got to be injuries, yeah?
Without a doubt, yeah. Especially with McGappy getting 60 minutes, or what turned out to be 20, 25 minutes.
We've got so many midfielders, haven't we?
Yeah. And they're not going to sell Nolan because they've just given him a new contract. And there's been no rumours in regards to John Nolan whatsoever. I'd be surprised if there was. Joe Dick 92, Ken Locke played well, I thought. John again, Down, Skuse, Bishop, midfield 3. Where would you sit on that? Down, Skuse and Bishop as a midfield 3.
Yeah, I've got Downs and Bishop down. It's just one other. You got Skuse, you could have Hughes, you could have Nolan maybe. Dazelle. There's so many.
There's so many. You're absolutely
So
right.
many.
Abundance, isn't it? It's an abundance.
But we need to get a 3. What we didn't do last season, we need to get a 3 and stick to them. Unless you get injuries, loss of form, you got to stick to them. No rotation.
Yeah.
I'll put this question to Joe first because he's coming back with us on Saturday for the Tottenham game. Joe, what do you want to see more out of Ipswich Town on Saturday after seeing them twice tonight?
I would try and look at the elements from the first game and improve on that. Although a lot of the elements in the first game were from players that you probably wouldn't start against Spurs even in a pre-season game because you'd want to give the first team players a bit more of a chance. I think there could be a really nice relationship, although they don't play too close together, between Kane Vincent-Young and Judge. Now, you saw from the corner how well worked that was. They're on the same wavelength. And they are similar players in the respect of ball on the deck, quick feet, nice intricate passing. I'm wondering if Lambert's going to see something there and try and nurture it. If it's on the left-hand side or the right-hand side, I think when I kept watching today, Kane Vincent-Young was everywhere. I couldn't even tell where he was playing, to be quite honest. Get popping up.
Brilliant player.
So I would be looking at that. I think again, for you, I think nailing down a striking option would be quite important as well. And a guy you're going to work with, of course, I think there's a lot of uncertainty from what I'm hearing. You guys know a lot more than me about Norwood and what role he's going to play next season. And of course, Lancaster and playing him in, will he play off the right? I think you've got and Caden Jackson, of course, as well. You've got to really look at that area. For me, though, I just wanted to touch on what you said there, and someone kindly wrote in about Cole Skews. And just from the outside, I know he's part of the club and everything like that, and he's well revered by some fans. I don't know what his contract situation is. Has it just gone a bit stale? You've got a lot of.
They give him another deal. Give him another 1 year.
deal.
I thought he was poor tonight. I thought he was poor. Yeah. Bit lazy and sloppy in possession.
I thought he got found out, and I know a lot of players did. But the season you come down from the Championship, I thought I know what he's very holding midfielder, and sprays the ball about, and he could be efficient in his passing. But I think there was just something missing, and even in last season, where I think just for his sake, possibly, and your midfield and the likes of Flynn Downs and these youngsters, you want to give more time. Is it time for Cole Skews? But again, I guess not now with the new deal. But that was my question I was going to put to you.
Matt, how about you?
Got the edge, has he? He's not really got that edge there. But we said that before. I think he got 2 yellows last season, Joe, which we said he's either like really good at tackling or just doesn't put a foot in.
Yeah, you can't tell from that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
No, he does walk off with whiter shorts and sometimes blue. Then he walks on. Yes, the boat has well and truly.
12th of September, we set sail.
We certainly do. Matt, what do you want to see more out of Town on Saturday?
What I really liked, and Joe touched upon it there, was the invention. We spoke about this in the very first show at the top of at 5:30. We want to see a bit of creation, a bit of invention. We saw that with the goal. We very rarely saw that in League One last season, didn't we? Sort of like these kind of like training ground, these set plays coming out from a corner or something. So that was great to see. But as the guys, Neil Kelly and Gregory said on the commentary, having shown their cards too early with that kind of little bit of trickery off a corner in pre-season. But
I will still maintain a corner should never be taken short. I'll still maintain that to the day I die. And once in a blue moon will never ever sway me from that opinion. I do think
what I will give credit for is I do think Lambert had us set up nicely across the 2 games. We were a lot more conservative, and it wasn't quite as enjoyable in the second game. But the first game was great to see those youngsters going forward. So I think Lambert prepared that first team really well. I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Rich, how about you? What do you want to see more out on Saturday against Tottenham?
Jack Lancaster is not 24. Lloyd Gladden. That is one thing he's not. I just want to see the same formation. I like the way we passed it around tonight. There wasn't a lot of long ball. It was on the deck. And I know it's a pre-season friendly. There was hardly any tackling, was there, in the game? No. I know there was a couple of yellow cards, but I like the way we set up. I like the way the fullbacks got forward. I want to see more of that. I want to see Vincent Young bombing down the left, Stephen Ward getting down the... look, Stephen Ward, I wasn't overly keen on him signing, but I can see why they've signed him on tonight. He's miles ahead of Kenlock, isn't he?
Definitely.
Look, he's played 50 games for Republic of Ireland, 450 plus games in the Premier League. He's
ideal League One.
Yeah,
getting to the byline, wasn't he? He only had a short amount of time, but
eventually,
right, yeah.
Eventually, we get to the byline. Yeah, I agree with that. But then the Ward transfer for me has always been more about if we can bring anybody in front of him of a Garbutt type who will create, who will make, who will drive the opposition. You know, Ward is a good left back, but if you're asking him to come in and be a good left back and help in terms of contribution the way Garbutt did, then you know that was way wide of the mark. I want to see some. Go on.
We've been linked with Ben Woodburn today, haven't we?
We certainly have, and we'll cover that on the weekend show and probably more in the podcast. To be honest with you, Louis ITFC, good man, Louis. Good to see Lancaster back. Think he could have a good season playing at the right of the front three. Lloyd would like you to reread his comment there, Rich. He was talking about himself, not Jack Lancaster.
Sorry, Lloyd.
Yeah, so you should be, Rich. So you should be. I just want to see. I want to see more of the same. I want to see a team that knows where it needs to be, is drilled, responsibility, and we've actually been working on bits and pieces. I know the short corner, I joke, should never be done again, but it's nice to see stuff from the training ground being lifted, even at this early stage, and being taken into a game. How many times did we sit under previous managers and you think, what do they work on? Because it would just be lumped in a direction and you scratch your head. So even at this early stage, and it is the time to start bringing these bits and pieces out, see if it works, see why it didn't work, see if, what needs to be tweaked and bits and bobs.
And trust those youngsters, Martin. Trust the youngsters. Yeah. Just his goal. Fantastic strike. You rarely see Freddie or Judge shooting from that distance and scoring, do you? So
this is what we got. This is what we got to do this season, Matt. It's like you say, it's part of Marcus's 5-point plan. You know, entertaining football, youngsters. Yeah. It was a myth last season. It can't be this season. They have to be given a head, and let's see if they're good enough.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Yeah,
without a shadow of a doubt. Jackson didn't look up for it tonight. You know what? On that, I really think the whole Norwood transfer debate. We'll probably go into that more at the weekend, but. We do. If you take him out of the team, we miss that devilment that Joey Garner brought, that James Norwood brings. That chippiness in the referee's ear, giving it some
edge.
Yeah, absolutely. That edge. You miss that, and that's a perfect foil for Jackson. And that sometimes goes because there's no stat for that. There's no stat for the edge, for in a referee's ear or in Tom Eastman's ear. I know it's only a friendly, but in Tom Eastman's ear. Yeah. Jackson needs that foil. I don't think Hawkins, from what we've read and spoke to the Pompey podcaster last weekend, will bring that.
If you play a three, Norwood's your focal point. Where does Jackson fit in? Does he play on the left?
Wide left. Yeah, inside forward, wide left. Yeah.
That's the problem with him. I don't see Jackson personally ever leading a line on his own, and it's just not the style of player he is. You can't pin it on him. I think it was first half of the season. It was tried a few times. I know
he done it when we got relegated from the Championship a few games. Yeah.
And then this might be why there's the smoke with the fire. Maybe the transfer.
Maybe
potentially so. Right. So we're done for our first match day ticket. Let's keep some of our powder dry for the weekend.
Steve, your betting record is awful.
Joe will be back with me at the weekend. Which one of you lovely fellows is also joining us?
I'm around.
I'm around. You're giving me the day off.
I certainly am. Yeah. You need it after all the Twitter.
I'll be back. I'll be back for the hammers.
Yes, you certainly will be. So we'll be back Saturday 2:30 for our pre-game rundown. Thank you all for joining us this evening. Next week, or on Saturday rather, if you want to get involved, just ask for a link and I will drop you a link and you can come onto the show and air your thoughts, air your opinions after the Tottenham game. But we are done for our quick roundup. Lovely, guys.
Top man, Joe. Good to see you.